everybody? Welcome to One Drink, a podcast where we talk about one topic for one drink. I'm Matthew.
I'm Oliver.
I'm Chris.
Yes, and we have a local podcast, Behind the Pines podcast. I saw it. I love everything about it. Caught my eye when I was on YouTube. Tell us all about it.
All right, so Behind the Pine podcast, it's just a bunch of bartenders coming on our show. We literally sit behind a bar that a lot of us do work at. We do have guests from other shows, that are from other bars that come on and talk. And, there's no shortage of stories in our industry. Stuff's happening every night. Drunk people are constant entertainment and stress and all the above.
Yeah.
And that was the idea. I remember sitting there thinking, the stories during the night are, the stuff you see from our perspective is
endless.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, when they're out at a bar, they think they're like hidden somehow, because they're in this they're in their own world.
Yeah.
And seeing it from our lens, I'm like, there's a lot of service industry workers, but I don't think people really get the whole grasp of what bartenders do, what we see, and the shit we talk pretty much right after you guys all leave.
Immediately.
Yeah, so I was like, I was telling, Matt and I were talking, I'm like, we always talked about it, like me and my coworkers, about how it could be a reality show. Every bar or restaurant could be its own reality show. And I'm like, I think we got to bring those stories to light. And I was like, that's a show, I think. And that's what we do. We just go on, we talk, and it is the gift that keeps on giving in that industry.
Oh, yeah.
It never stops. There's always something happening. Yeah. It's a it's like it is the gift, and then it's like Christmas gift where it's like, oh, socks.
Right. Yeah. Boxers. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, I actually do need those though.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's, it's funny because I'm 38, right? I'll be 39 this year. I don't really care that much about Christmas gifts anymore. When I get something that's like useful, like literally like socks or like a pack of white T-shirts, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is exactly what I wanted.
I don't know how I tend, all those ones from the year before tend to run their course right around late November, so it's perfect. So it is perfect. But that's what I got. I just discovered I have a new favorite deodorant from my stocking stuffer this year. So
nice.
That's why every time I use it, I'm like, fuck yeah, man, this is perfect. But that's another thing. I'm 38 too. So bartending is.
Man, I feel old.
Yeah.
That's okay. You don't look old.
It does get tougher when you get older. And this was kind of like, all right, how can I turn this thing that I love into something fun, something cool?
Yeah.
And everyone that we enjoy it. We have a great time with it. And it's the service industry workers' way to kind of say, okay, now we get to talk a little bit, so.
I'll tell you, I love the idea for your show, and as soon as Matt told me about it, I was like, I Googled it almost immediately when we finished talking. I was like, one of my favorite things about working in the restaurant business was when industry people would come in.
Yes.
And then we would talk shop, because you're just talking to like-minded people that fully understand what you just went through in the last 6 hours.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Especially on a shit night, just everything goes wrong. Obviously, you can talk to the rest of the staff that's there because they get it, but they also just went through it. So when somebody else comes in, they're not part of the crew, and you can be like, yo.
Yeah. And they know right away.
And they know immediately. Just knowing that you have somebody that understands you was the best. I loved just bouncing ideas off of people, we just did this. That wouldn't work for us. Let's try this. So, that was my favorite part about being in the restaurant business, was talking and being with other restaurant people.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so the idea of the show,
perfect.
It's taking all of my favorite stuff and then just getting rid of the customers.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly what it is. Yeah. And it's
no offense to all my customers from over the years, but
I tell people that all the time. I go, it's tough because you always. Sometimes it sounds so negative. Listen, there's a lot of great stuff too. The negatives just glare out, and the ending of one of your stories would be the jumping off point for the start one of mine, because it just reminds you of so many things. There's always stuff going on, and we always talk about trading war stories. After big nights, which I'm getting older, and it's tough to do, but my favorite times were always. And we have Parade Day coming up.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, we're going to need it. And every year it comes around, you're like, oh, shit, we're all this build up to it. And then the best thing is that first thing in the morning when the bars open up Sunday after Parade Day, all the workers are out from the day before trading war stories.
Oh, yeah.
And saying, this fucking guy, you won't believe what happened here. Did this happen over there? Oh, yeah, I heard about that. And that's kind of the camaraderie, I think, that comes with the service industry people.
Yep.
And you gotta get it. You gotta be in it to get it a little bit. And we talk about it all the time on our show that it's one of those things where we really do think that everyone should have to work in the service industry for
mandatory.
Yeah.
Mandatory.
It's like an internship for life. I call it. It's like you get to see things, and I think there's a lot of things that I wanted to bring to light in the show that I think are overlooked, which is, that you do develop communities and cultures in these industries, just like any other industry. You know what I mean? And it's more than just slinging drinks. There's a lot more to it. That is obviously the main goal, but it's a living, breathing industry. Yeah. I was like, I thought not only would it be fun for the bartenders to get together and talk, I had a Barbacks episode that's coming out soon, and we want to do servers, people that work events, and kind of see where that Venn diagram is, where it's hey, you're an event space bartender. I'm a local dive bar throwing drinks over the bar. Where is it different? Where is it similar? And kind of get that Venn diagram together.
And that's perfect because you can get every angle from every aspect of that industry. But another thing that I like too is that you bring on local other business owners as well on your show, kind of like what we do. We support local businesses no matter what it is in Rochester. So for you to be doing the same thing, that kind of helps as well too.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's really a part of, I think even just the bartender culture is we support each other's shifts. We go out and say, hey, listen, all right, it's literally, we talk about it all the time. It's like its own economy. Yeah. Where it's like, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'm going to come and tip you extraordinarily on your shift on Tuesday, but when I work on Wednesday, you're just going to come give me the money back. Yeah.
We just the same $100 just gets passed around.
It's honestly, it's just like ceremony at this point. It's just like
sometimes, man, it'd be funny. Sometimes I'd have a group come in and I'd be like, oh shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, damn, this is gonna be. My liver's gonna hurt in the morning, and then like a week later, I'd be like, crap. I gotta go over there now. You know what I mean? I have a night off, and be like, "Oh man, it's gonna be cool."
I have a night off, but it's my shift.
And it'd be like, "Damn, I gotta go see Kristen now because they came in last week, and I still haven't seen them." And it's like, "Oh
There's
man, it's like I'm gonna take out that $100 and go bring it back to them."
I feel very selfish these days because I kids now and all that other stuff. I don't go out often, so when I do go out, I try to throw as much money around as I can because I'm like, this is like
quickly
my quota for the year.
And get out.
Like,
I want to leave. I want to get home early.
Get in, get out.
Someone buys me a drink, I'm like, oh, here's $30. Just take it. I don't care how you allocate it, just get it away from me so I can sleep tonight. But no, it's a cool culture, and it's there's a lot of stories to be told, and I kind of had the idea when it's like as I gotten older and I've seen so many generations come through these bars. Yeah. And you get to a point where my favorite part was when everyone was gone, and you talk about those stories, and I'm like, I wonder if people know this is how we talk about stuff. And
they know.
They don't know.
Well, especially I was never a bartender, but Oliver was, and I would go to his bar and everything. And there were nights, of course, I would get obviously too drunk, right? And I knew the next day.
No, I never overserved you.
but I was like, liability for me.
He did live across the street, though, so he did just walk across the street.
But I was like, if I did something stupid, I was like, yeah, there they go.
Yeah, right.
Now they got something to talk about for at least a couple hours. You know what I mean?
Well, you had a rare experience though too, at least with Quimby's, because he was so in with us that like we let him stay after close. You know what I mean? He'd help put up chairs and you know what I mean. He'd go into we'd give him a beer list and he'd go into the cooler and grab bottles. You know what I mean? So for sure. So he got to see stuff afterwards as well, you know what I mean? So he got a nice glimpse, sort of, behind the scenes, what happens at a bar and after it closes.
And there are regulars that kind of become part of the scene without working.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
That happens all the time, and that's just part of the community that grows and people you get to know. Like I tell people, that's more than just they have other discussions too, rather than they're not just constant debauchery. There's plenty of that. It's actually, it's a majority of that. But in the end, there's people you meet, people that end up getting married. We've had people come into our bars that, they have their engagement photos at some of our bars, or they have their wedding party stop by because they met at our bar.
This is where we met.
Yeah, this is where we met. I'm like, I can't believe you're still together because you guys are hammered that night.
We had one couple that got engaged at Quimby's where I know him from, and they came back every year on their anniversary and sat at the exact same table.
Oh, there you go.
That they had because they had their first date there. He proposed there, all at the same table. So, and then we have we had like a picture of them in the office, and it was like from every event. So it was like their first date. We had a picture from their engagement. We had a picture from their first anniversary, second anniversary, third anniversary. It was like a whole
10th one and you're like,
it was like a whole thing. You know what I mean? So
Linda,
it was cool, but like that made me feel good because like they loved the place so much that they included it. You know, the place itself into their life and into their memories, and you know,
that is the side that people don't hear about. It's super cool, and we had my buddy got, you know, he proposed to his now wife in the back. I didn't realize how involved it was going to be. He was like, "Hey," I was like, "Yeah, we'll have it all set up," and then my bartender calls me, and I was just after like a second night bender, and I'm at my house, and he goes, "Yeah, you got to come help me settle this up." I'm like, what? Went in there, the aux cord wasn't working. I had to set up the music, all this stuff. He had like a whole thing in the back with a Christmas tree with all their pictures on it. They got engaged because I was their bartender on their first date. And then like they had this Christmas tree with all their pictures on it, and it just sat in our basement for like 3 years. So like new people would come start working for us, like, who are these people?
Right, what the fuck is this tree?
But you do get a lot more stories, and it's more in depth than what people, you know, because when you're a customer, you come in and that's, you know, from the time you get there to the time you leave, that's what the whole experience is.
Yeah.
And you get all these service industry people that stick with bars for a long time, or they've been in the industry all over the place, and they see a little bit deeper into it. So not only is the show the crazy stories, the annoying stories, the day-to-day experience, but I think it's a little peek behind the curtain as to there is more involved in that. You know, they are businesses at the end, so they're not just, you know, these constant shit show. Which, like I said, plenty of that. Not saying that, you know, this is, you know, we're not a bunch of church choir people working on there, but I think, you know, that's, and also we were talking. I think it's a customer etiquette thing too. Customers listen to it and they're like, oh shit, they don't like that. I do that all the time, and it's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, it hits you right, and you're just like, oh, that was me.
That was me.
And then they're like, is that me? Are they talking about me?
Oh, this is really familiar. They had parts of the last night piecing together in their head when they're listening to the show.
And then he's like, son of a bitch, but I made it on the podcast.
Just blow yourself. We don't use names, so if you tell somebody on the podcast, you're blowing yourself up.
Yep.
But you are in the main, like for Rochester, where you guys are, that's the main hub for all the popular bars, restaurants, and everything. So I used to go to the bars back maybe 15, 20 years ago, say, and it was always busy, always hopping. Everything was packed. Now, is it the same today? Obviously, we don't go down there or partake in any of the stuff that we
Dude, I try not to be out past dark anymore. You know what I'm saying? If I get home at like 6 or 7... That's like, late. Yeah. I'm like, damn, this is late.
You know, it is tough because it's like I'm past my bedtime when my shift starts.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of times and I'm like,
but
okay,
is it still like that busy?
It's busy. I think there's a little less density in the city than there used to be.
Yeah.
But like Park Ave, for instance, we have so many people that live out there that like it's someone's Friday every night.
Yeah.
You know, you got a college crowd that's late night. You got industry workers that get out and they close their restaurant or bar at 11, 12 o'clock and they come out for the last couple hours.
Yeah.
You got nurses, teachers, you know, anyone really, and it's everyone's schedules are different. So, and we just never close. Like I think my brother coined this like for Magpie. He's like, Magpie's not a bar; it's a state of mind. And so, you know, we never close. We're open 365 till 2 a.m. And people are just kind of known for that, you know. So,
and those are the bars too that, you know, like on a Christmas or something, right? There's people that are like, oh man, I'm gonna go out. And they know to go to Magpie. Those bars that always stay open all the time.
Christmas is one of our best nights. It started off really slow, and then everyone's like, "Oh shit, that place is open." And then everyone's like, "I just need an excuse to
leave my family."
And
then word spreads, and now you're like, it's packed. You're like, oh.
Yeah. And then 3 years later, you know, you got 100 people dancing on the bar to Mariah Carey. Like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
So, but that's part of the culture. You know, it's like you know, you see the same people every year on Christmas that are back in the town. We have a lot of people that, you know, Magpie or Half Pint or Murphy's was like their stomping grounds, and they moved away. And when they come back into town, that's where they go.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the kind of stories and the connections that I think, you know, these bars and restaurants have with people. That it's a memory. It's a time where, and I've been like at Magpie since 2008, so I see all these generations come through.
Yeah.
And it's cool to kind of see the next generation treat their favorite bar the way we treated our favorite bar. And how the generation before, and you kind of see the kind of bar that I work at is that same thing for different generations.
Yep.
And that's where, I think as much as there's a lot of shit going on there, they play a really big role in community and people and relationships.
Yeah.
Especially now, it's people still get together. Yeah. It's a place for people to get together, socialize.
And then the regulars from 10 years ago are bringing their 21-year-olds in.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that's your son. That's my daughter.
That's one thing that I don't think people realize either. You talk about all the crazy stories and the all the BS that goes on, but I think that one of the main things that people don't realize is how much of an impact a restaurant can have on one of its employees' lives, especially if that employee has been there for quite some time. Because most of the people that I know now, I met through a restaurant. Yeah. Like, I met my wife at the restaurant, and because she worked there one day a week. You know what I mean? We bought our first house from the owner.
Wow.
When he moved, and then we had a daughter. So it's like my whole life.
Oh yeah.
Is the way that it is, and I have the people around me that I do because of that restaurant.
Yeah.
When the restaurant closed and I branched off and I started my painting company, my very first customer as a small business owner was one of my regulars because they knew that I painted. You know what I mean?
We talk about it all the time.
It's just
the networking.
It becomes an epicenter and like a spring off point for so many other aspects of your life. And you look at any profession. Where do people go to meet for business deals or restaurants and bars? And, and I think that working in that industry gives you that a social ability to go out and talk to people and the ease of it, and it does translate to other aspects of your life, and you can always come back to it.
Yep.
Stuff doesn't work out or things change or you move cities. You have a ground level where you're confident socially to go talk to people and hang out, and you have a skill that can generate revenue at any point in your life, whether it's a side hustle or there's people that people that leave the industry, go out for careers, and then come back like I wasn't making as much money.
Yeah.
And
that's what's crazy.
That's the hardest part about the restaurant business, man.
It's addicting.
There is so much money to be made.
And the thing
it's crazy.
is for like you guys, I'm assuming you guys are a very, very good bartender, right?
I mean, it's with experience, though. You do it for long enough.
So when you get to a spot, people will tip you because you're a good bartender. Now, I'm assuming that money is, you can't make money like that all the time.
No.
Like,
I can make someone's weekly paycheck on a Saturday.
Exactly.
And bartending is my side job at this point in my life. So, but it's, no matter how much money I make, it's like, how can I turn away an extra however many dollars to throw drinks at I literally just whip high noons and Surfside people's heads for 4 hours. But, and granted, like, I'm older now than a lot of our late night clientele, and, we rag on them a lot, but also they still do appreciate a good bartender.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, you were great, and you get joy out of that. And you get to an age where, like, everything I want to do well, including bartending. And, we've talked about it all the time that you have this thing, people that work in the industry do have this thing where we like to provide service. We just do. And it's fulfilling when you know you did a good job. And also, and at the end of the night, you're like, I earned that one. And I earned that.
And like for me, I was never a bartender, but when you get a good bartender, you seem to stick with them. Like, they know what night you're working.
They follow you anywhere you go.
Yeah.
They'll go anywhere. Yeah. If you switch places and you go to another place, guaranteed you're gonna have regulars come with you.
Exactly.
And we tell people you got to build your shifts. You got to do stuff, and these are the things that, like, it's you don't just open the doors. There is a little bit of an art you developed over time. You do it, and everyone's got their own style. Everyone's got their own personality. Some people fit better at other bars, some bars than others. So these are all things that, to the customer, it looks like you just show up and this is what. But we're working.
Oh yeah,
we are working.
Oh yeah, the good ones anyway.
Yeah, right.
The good ones anyways. Yeah.
There's a lot of people you get that'll work really hard for 2 people, and you got other bartenders that won't work hard for 100. So it's all over the place.
Well, and it's Matt. You remember what I did with Mondays at Quimby's, man. Mondays ended up after I took over the absolute dead Monday night shift. I mean, when I started it, we were doing like $300 on the bar, and that was it.
Yeah.
And when I ended, or when the restaurant ended, Monday overall was the second busiest day of the week next to Friday.
You got to build your nights,
You know what
man.
I mean? And it was then I was doing $2,200 on the bar.
Right.
On a Monday night.
No, you got to build your nights.
He's like, coming on a Monday, I was like, I
He was
gotta
like,
work, but
Monday.
I
But
might show up for 1
Yeah.
or 2 or 10 or fuck, no, I'm calling
Next thing you know, you're putting up bar stools with them at 2:30.
I'm sick, I'm not coming into work tomorrow.
I used to tell people all the time, like, I want to have like a magpie letterhead that says like he won't be making it into work tomorrow. And just
Please
say, hey,
sign
it's our fault.
Right. Get one of those little stamps, you know what I mean, like a notary, you know? So it looks all official, but it just, then they won't actually look at it and be like, oh, raised stamp.
Seal
really
it with like melted wax.
And eventually, though, somebody's going to look at it and be like, Magpie?
Yeah, magpie?
What the? Is this from a bar?
I'm going to Magpie.
Right.
I don't got to work the next
Come in,
day.
hey, I just said you got my employee drunk. Next thing you know, I get the boss drunk too. Yeah. That's just, and then that's where we go. And that's it is. There's just more to the industry, and there's a little humanitarian side to it too, where it's like, yeah, here's the humility of the people that work and that are serving you, and that show up every day, whether we have shitty days or we have our own stuff going on.
Of course.
You know, we're showing up to make sure that you have a good time.
Yep.
And, you know, there are a lot of customers that are super appreciative of it, but there's the ones that not. They look at you as if you're a servant.
Oh, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that is part of, you know, we are there to serve you, but we also have every right to tell you to go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
And, you know, there's a huge correlation, too, between the restaurant business and podcasting. Because it seems like just set up a camera, get a mic, and just talk about shit, and then upload it to YouTube or to Spotify or whatever. No.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it than just that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way I feel about the restaurant business.
That's
too,
actually, that's a really good correlation. I really like it.
There's so much that goes on behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Way more. And you know now, being in doing the podcast for a year, it's not as simple as everyone thinks it is. Right? And there is a lot of behind the scenes, like your producer. He has to do a lot of work behind the scenes when it comes to audio, video, everything, you know?
Making sure the levels are right, making sure that everything's in the frame. And then you got to deal with all the editing stuff, which is why he does it and I don't.
Same thing with
Because I fucking lose my mind if I had to do that. Too.
I'm like on the show, and then I ask Alex when we get done, I'm like, how'd it go? I wasn't in front of the camera for an hour and a half.
He always texts me like a couple hours after the show, and he'd be like, "That was a good one."
Oh yeah.
I'll be like, "Whew!"
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank God, because sometimes
Everything
I'll be like,
went right.
Sometimes
Because, I mean, there is mistakes.
Yep.
Sometimes you forget to hit record, or the audio, or the mic won't work, or there's just so many things
we had a couple of shows
can go wrong.
in the beginning where just the audio that we were working with was, you know, it was a $20 microphone and, you know, a 3.5 millimeter aux cord that we found like in the junk drawer that like would work connected to our phone
Podcasting's
on some
easy.
stupid little, you know, on a shelf with like a couple of books on it, and then this stupid tiny little tripod so that it would like be high enough. There were so many times where like, you know, we'd have to jiggle the cord like to make it like work, or we'd film an entire show, and we do everything pretty much off the cuff too. You know what I mean? Like we'll make some notes on some stuff, or you know, we'll do this or we'll do that, or you know, we'll chat, you know, pre-show and just make sure that you know we're on the same page about you know kind of how we sort of want it to go. But we're pretty much off the cuff, so it's not like we can just recreate a show.
No,
you know, especially when something's like funny or you know something random will happen. Yeah. And there's been shows where the audio didn't work, or you know the level was like way too low, and it's just you know a whole show gets ruined. Or we tried to, I think we redid one show. It was one of the conspiracy theory shows, and it sucked. It was terrible.
You can't, and that's we like. So I had a script before we did our first episode, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, get rid of it, because especially bartenders, you know, we talk and everything. It's kind of one story leads into another. But you know, we've had. You know, issues where we tried to film when we were open. Our first episode, it didn't work out, and it made Alex's life a hell of a lot harder. And we're like, all right, so we got that learning
Whose
curve.
idea was this?
We've lost a couple episodes because you know we didn't toggle one button. You know what I mean? And those are the learning curves, and you got to take those hits. But like you said, you can't recreate them. Like I'm going to have those people back on.
Yep.
But it's like you know you have these authentic conversations, and it's tough to recreate it.
Yeah, I know.
And I tell the people that are going to come back on, like, don't even worry about the last one. It didn't happen.
Yep.
We're starting from scratch.
Yep.
Because, you know,
it's really, you can't, any moment in your life you think of, it's really tough to you can't reenact the same event twice.
Yep. Yeah. Well, especially the connection too between two people when they're having that kind of conversation too. You know what I mean? Like,
especially if it's a good one.
Yeah, especially if it's a good one. Especially if it's a good one, you're like, especially when when you're off the rip for the most part. It's you can't do it again. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the same. But when it does go right and you get those good moments, you're like, yes.
And I think
that was a good show.
There's so much competition out there with podcasts. There's so much content out there, and you got AI coming in and stuff. And that's why I really think there's going to be a continued longing for got people just sitting down talking one on one. And I think we talked about it, like it correlates to the bar where people. That's a place where they come to meet. That's a place where people are still doing face to face interaction. It's very important,
and it's relatable to a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if you went to the bar once in your life, right? You're going to see this, and you're going to, whatever story's being told, it's relatable.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So the niche that you have is fantastic.
Yeah, no, if customers, everyone's worked in the service industry, knows someone who did.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like, they always come in and visit their friend during their shifts, and they kind of get the inside scoop. And I really, another thing is, too, like, I go by bar rules, where it's, no politics, no religion.
Yes.
And
that's exactly what our show follows, the exact same rules.
Yeah. Enough people are angry about all that shit, and I think this is, it's a nice pressure valve for your guy. Like, your guys show the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a nice release to say, listen, let's take a break.
Yep.
And that's what people go to the bar for.
Exactly.
Take a break, have a drink. And I'll tell people all the time, you start talking about politics, they're like, no.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it.
Go outside if you want to do it. Not in here.
Go to different zip codes. I don't want to be near it.
Yep.
It's the place of harmony and destruction.
Yep. And that's people ask me all the time when I tell them about our show, and they'll be like, "Oh, what's it about?" I'm like, "Nothing."
Yeah.
Everything, nothing.
Everything,
You know
nothing.
what I mean? Like it doesn't. I don't know. It depends on the week.
It's those conversations, and I'm sure you guys heard them 1,000 times. You know those weird conversations that someone's like, "Oh, how long did it take to get to the moon?" Or just, for example, right? And you hear a funny, weird conversation, you're like, "Oh, yeah." So that's kind of like what we bring to the forefront is just humorous, funny topics that
just hanging out and shooting the shit.
Yeah,
and it's all it is, and that's what I think people, especially everyone's on screens all the time. I think granted we're on a screen right now, but
but you can watch us.
Yes,
always,
all the time, constantly. Keep watching your screens. Yep. Except for when you're at the bar.
Right. Yeah. Then put your
now. Do you get that
away
a lot? Like bartending, like. For me, when we went to the bar, we were talking and we were trying to, do whatever we were trying to do. But do you see people there, like, just on their phones?
Both. I do. I pay really close attention to that, actually. It's like, especially, it's a younger generation because I'm older, and they are on their screens a lot. They always need their phones charged, whatever. They sometimes make bad customers because they're stuck in their phone while they're trying to order a drink, and I have 100 people waiting. But I pay attention when I do catch people are talking. And I think that's super important for
thank God
for society, for humanity. And I think even though they might not remember the conversations, they still want the interaction.
Yeah.
Especially slower times of the night, like the earlier parts of the night.
You need
people coming in. We're surrounded by restaurants, so we see a lot of first dates that are having a drink while they're waiting for their table.
Let's take a picture.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, bartenders, we throw out assists all the time.
Oh, 100%.
We're a good buffer. You see
you
see a bad date, a date starting off that's doesn't look like it's going well. We step in and try to help out.
Yes.
Maybe break the ice a little bit or take so much pressure off of one of the people.
Yep. You look like you need a shot.
Right.
No, really take this.
While she's in the bathroom, hurry up, loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
But also, I tell this story all the time. There was this couple, the young couple, they waited so long for their table, but then they started ripping shots. When she went to the bathroom, I go, pump the brakes, dude.
Yeah.
Because when you go to that small, quiet restaurant and you're hammered, you're going to make
it's going to suck.
You're not going to have this environment to back you up. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's you see a lot of stuff, and to see people getting together still and wanting to socially come out and do stuff, I think that's super important. And everyone can have fun at a bar.
Hell yeah.
You walk into, you meet people at the bar. I met my wife at the bar. And, even though your life changes, it stays with you all the time.
And now, I don't know if... I don't think I've ever been to Magpie. Maybe I have. I can't remember. But is it like a small... I don't want to say dive bar, but is it like a dive bar?
It's kind of become that. I mean, I want to say it, and I say that in all the best senses of the word.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like the Cheers of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows the bartenders. We've had a long-standing staff. We got to a point when I was hanging out there more and I lived out there that we don't even ask where are you guys at? We just show up. And everyone was there. At the very least, you knew the bartender.
Yep.
Hang out until then you start, and you get to know people's faces over the years. And, and then you just kind of, that's how these, communities, get together.
That's what Quimby's was, and we got compared in the area to Cheers all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just, we had very low turnover. You know what I mean? When someone started working there, they were usually worked there for a long time before, they moved on. So, like, the relationships that got built, were really good, and that's one of the things that enhanced that place so much.
And as staff, like you said, low turnover, we have the same thing. We have a lot of long-term staff, so it's like, we had a long-time bartender of ours leave and open up their own place, and they're doing great. They're good.
See, that's cool though too.
Yeah, and then, but like when he worked open to close Sundays, so when everyone's drooling over that shift because it hasn't been open in 10 years. You know what I mean?
So you're saying when those Sundays are open.
Yeah. And everyone's like, okay, then and then the bar's got to adapt, and the different culture kind of changes.
Yeah.
And it's and we have group chats and stuff for like picking up shifts and everything. Yeah. And it's funny because you could tell when the shifts that aren't the most desirable are up for grabs.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I can get rid of my Saturday night without, I just got to whisper it into the wind and someone will be there. But then, next, you got to beg somebody to pick up a Tuesday day sometimes when it's 2 below and, there's not much going on.
But like you were saying, being a dive bar, in the best sense of the word, that's how I always describe Quimby's too. Yeah. And I always used to say, we might be a hole in the wall, but we're a very well-cut hole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But dive bars
we weren't done with a hammer. This hole wasn't made with a hammer. It was made with a hole saw. Right. You know what I mean?
And those are the stories that are embedded into the place over the years. And, for me, even telling new staff that comes on or new customers, like, well, we love it. I'm like, you guys understand there's 20 years of history here, and I'm glad you guys are having the same experience we had. But, this has been around a long time, and you guys are going to be part of the history just like everyone else was. And, you come back when you're in town. Say, hey, listen, if we're out, or if you moved out to the suburbs, if you're out in the area, like, you have to stop at this place for a drink. Yeah. And it becomes that ceremonial thing and part of people's lives. And we had, you were telling people I got in, they had their dates throughout the years, their anniversaries. I've told this story before. My barber met his wife at Public House that we used to own, and he pulled her up. He pulled a stool up first. When we closed, I gave him one of the stools. He brought it home to her. She goes, "I know exactly what that is," and that's the cool thing. And now they're married with a kid, and it's like Public House was a shit show. Yeah. And then you see people's lives start from those little moments.
We had when Quimby's closed, we had a couple people got stools.
Oh yeah.
One ended up buying a table off the owner, a table and 4 chairs. But it's funny too, because like I'll get a text randomly sometimes, it'll be a stool, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's one of Quimby's stools. Yeah. And then like I'll see who it's from, and it's in a corner in their kitchen, what I mean, and it's just like hanging out. It still lives there. Then the place meant so much to them that they grabbed a stool and they have it in their home, like in a cool spot. It's like it becomes a conversation piece for them, because
and every time they look at it, it brings back those memories and those times. And
then they're like, well, let's go to Magpie or let's go to Quimby's.
Being part of what created those memories for someone, or those lasting memories for someone, is one of the most rewarding parts about having been in that industry. You know what I mean? Just to be associated, to the point where they have my phone number and they text me when they think about Quimby's. You know what I mean? Like they'll have a Reuben somewhere and they'll be like, this isn't as good as Quimby's. You know what I mean? Or somebody will text me and be like, hey, do you have the recipe for that wing sauce? You know what I mean? Or it's just something random, and it's just like, I know. I do, yes, but no, I don't. For enough money, you can have it too.
Oliver's Quimby sauce.
Yes.
And it really is a huge part of that. And all the time, it brings back great memories. It brings people together. And like how we talk about jumping off as an industry worker to other parts of your life, customers carry that with them in their lives too. And I had a regular on Mondays, and he didn't show up on Monday, and I did like a wellness check on him. He's like, oh, I forgot to tell you I was going to Dallas. And then he was with all his buddies in Dallas. He goes, my bartender hasn't seen me in a week. He goes, because I've only been gone 1 week. That's
we used to do the same thing. Like, hey, have you seen Jim?
Yeah, right.
Like, where has he been in? No.
No.
Fuck, where is he?
You gotta check
and
in
then
on
we'd
them.
do the same thing. Like we'd call another regular and it'd be like, "Hey, can you call and see if Jim's okay?"
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he's in Seattle visiting his daughter." And it's like he couldn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he owes us an explanation, like why he's not there.
We didn't sign a permission slip for that.
What the fuck? You can't tell anybody that you're leaving.
Yeah.
You know,
You're part of our budget too.
Or somebody'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. He told me last week he was going to see his daughter." It's like, way to tell us.
Yeah, thanks.
Like we were in a panic. I'm getting ready to call Seattle PD here. Like, what's going on right now?
That's awesome. You get regulars get like, oh, we're getting married or we're having a kid. I'm like, congratulations. There goes that part of my. I just lost for my regulars on Wednesdays, but congratulations, guys.
And that's the thing too, is like little bars like that, community bars, you do meet really good people.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes those regulars will become part of like your friendship, or maybe even a best friend. You never know.
Yep.
Because, obviously everybody's from different worlds. When they go to a bar, they go there to get away from everything. But you meet a lot of cool people.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have our regulars and friends that we've known at the bars. They come to my dad's house for Christmas. We do like a late Christmas there every year. But that's also us roping them in like, well, I guess we got to go to the bar now after he is. But yeah, you get all that stuff, and like we have, people that meet at the bars, and then they want to have their favorite bartender go bartend their wedding. So we lend out our bartenders like, yeah, go bartend their wedding, and you do become a part of people's lives.
Yeah.
And it's super cool, super fun, super stressful. When you're not in the mood for a busy bar, it's a really tough gig.
Oh yeah.
It's when you're like,
because you do have your life,
right,
and whatever's going on in your life. You're at the bar and you're just like, okay,
you got to check it at the door and smile, and you're out celebrating, and I'm like, shit.
And people can feel it too. Like even your regulars be like, so you all right? Dude?
You all right?
And you're just like,
yeah. Just gotta smell it, and turn around, and like a little tear comes out once in a while, and you gotta wipe it away and turn around with a smile.
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
But it's part of it, and I think we're natural talkers. We're also kind of natural complainers because there's drama within and drama next year. But the drama within, as soon as bartenders need to rally together, they do that. We talk about it all the time. If there's an issue at one of the bars and there's not a bouncer on, all of our staff's usually out drinking somewhere, so everyone will just in the group chat will just hound over that bar. And if there's any issue, the regulars and their coworkers will show up and help the bartender out if they're in a bad situation.
Yep.
So,
and that's the thing too, is like we always say when we support local businesses, the small business and bars, they stick together.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's going on at different bars because people come. It's just the community.
We have an issue like with someone that's like a consistent issue. I'll tell people all the time, like, you will not have a drink in this zip code,
right?
Because I'll text everyone your picture. And that's everyone. And then you're gonna be the guy when all your friends want to go out, like, oh, I have to go a half an hour away to get a drink. The Ubers are more expensive than my bar tabs.
Like, can we go drinking Breeze?
Yeah, right. No. No, you can too.
You can.
It's like an old wanted poster from like the Wild West, just tumbling through all the towns of Rochester.
Everybody's
like, this guy's a
ding,
dick.
ding, 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 ding.
You get like a sighting, like if someone disappears for a while, thinks we forgot.
Amber alert.
No,
like,
people don't forget, man.
People don't forget. Ever.
Bartenders definitely don't forget.
No, don't forget. Just your name.
Just your name. Yes, yes, just your name.
But there is more to it, and that's kind of that is the point of the show. And like I said, for us to kind of bring our conversations to the light, because we play therapists, we do all these things. And, we know what's going on with all of our customers' personal lives, and sometimes vice versa.
Sometimes too much.
Yeah, too much. You're
just like, oh my God, Larry. What?
Sometimes you get to the point where a regular will tell you something, and you'll be like, why the fuck are you telling me that?
Yeah.
I don't need to know this.
Yeah.
I don't need to know
this. And then
this.
it's on your mind.
Yeah.
And now you're like,
well, now I'm responsible for what they said.
You
like,
go
now
home
it's
and you're like,
if the cops subpoena this footage, I have to give it to them.
Shit. But then on the inside, I'm like,
and we see a lot of shit.
It's kind of cool.
We cover for people. We know what's going on. We see shit all the time we don't talk about. Like, that person shouldn't be here with that person, but I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody will walk in and be like, hey, have you seen John? It's like, nope.
Nope.
Not today.
See someone with a different girl every week, like, introduce yourself like you've never seen him before.
Yep.
Hey, Steve. I'm Chris.
Yep. It's like, or they'll walk in and they'll like, it was funny. I had a customer that he used to come in all the time with this lady, and they were both cheating on their respective.
We had one of those.
But we were their bar, like we were their cheat bar. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because when I first found out about it, I covered a shift that I never worked. You know what I mean? And like I saw him come in there, and he had just been in with like his actual wife, like 3 weeks prior. And I looked at him and I was like, man, this guy looks fucking familiar. And I was like, wait a minute. So I went and got one of the other people that usually worked on the other shift with me. I was like, is that? And they were like, oh, he was in here with a different chick a couple weeks ago. And I was like, so which one's the side one?
Yeah, right.
So then it turned into a mystery, you know what I mean? Like, which one's the wife and which one's the other one?
With Pepe Silva, he's got all the strings. And you get...
There is no Pepe! No, there is no Carol!
Pepe Silva. That's literally what happened. And then also that's how shit and rumors start, though. And it's...
Yeah.
You gotta love it. We see it all the time.
And you gotta wonder, how does he not get caught?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing,
What
too.
the hell?
Oh, he did.
I'm sure. It blew up at your bar.
Oh, yeah, it sure did. Sure did.
And then you start picking up those shifts because you don't want to be the one to miss
Yep.
them.
Yeah, man, it's like being home in time to watch, the newest episode.
Tuesday shift?
Right.
I'm in. I'm in.
8 o'clock, right? 8 o'clock?
And I remember when we were talking about beforehand, we didn't want to focus too much on the actual restaurant and bar industry, but that's...
I know. I really tried to do good. I said this before the show, because we're going to go on to their show in a couple of weeks, and I told them, I was like, I'm really going to try and focus and stick to podcasts, because we were just going to talk about podcasting on this show, and I was like, I'm really going to try hard not to, just get into, restaurant and bar stuff, and that's what we did the entire show. I did try, though. I tried one segue.
It validates my concept.
That's what I'm saying.
I tried one segue where I tried to make the correlation between restaurants and podcasts. Yeah.
No,
and we stuck there for about half a second, and then we all switched back to restaurants. So I was like, I'm just going to let it fucking
That was
ride.
still a good correlation, because what I also talk, how it's tough to budget your life bartending is also tough to figure this stuff out. It's like, okay, what's my return on my time and all these other things? Because there's people that strictly rely on bartending. We have our slow months and everything, and it's difficult to say, okay, but there is a passion for it. I think there's a passion for podcasting too.
Oh yeah.
You kind of, it's a weird addiction. I was like, okay, I think I got a concept here. I think I got an idea. I think people will like it. I think it's relatable. But it's like, how much can I really put into this? And it's, you gotta, there's a little bit of heart and soul you have to have for it and love for it, or it is not going to work.
Right. Yep.
And it is tough to make things happen. And a couple ideas, bartending is the same thing. You got to draw people in. You got to do things. You got to build it. You got to have your own characteristics. You got to have your own flair to it.
Yep.
And I tell people all the time on my show, everyone's like, "Oh, what's that like?" I'm like, every show is different because there's different guests, and it has its own. Every show has its own personality because people are different.
Yep.
There's one episode where it's crazy chaotic. We're kind of screaming and hollering and laughing, and the next one's just a straight up great conversation for an hour and 10 minutes. So it does. Podcasting and bartending are kind of the same. Like, I don't know how it's. I know what I'm going to show up. I'm going to do what I can do, and it might. Some days are going to be just different or not better or worse.
Yep.
But there is definitely a lot of correlation.
Really, the only thing going into it is I'm going to go and make some drinks.
Yeah.
That's about the only guarantee. Yep. Just like this, I'm going to go sit down and chat with Matt and potentially somebody else for about an hour. Yeah. Don't know where it's going to go. Could be one where we're crying by the end of the show. Something's so funny, but there's been so many shows where we've both literally got laughing so hard at something just so dumb. But it just hits that funny bone, just right. And we'll still make references to shows that we did 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Just a funny part that's still stuck with us.
That becomes part of your mantra.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? It's okay. And you want to always shoot for those moments.
Mm-hmm.
That's
of course.
And that's the thing with doing this stuff is, I love when we don't have a script. We just sit down and we're like, all right, what's going to happen?
That's
all right, let's go.
Yep. That's what makes it exciting too. You know what I mean? Because we sit down and we don't know how it's going to go. It could be so shit that we don't even release it.
Right.
But it hasn't been that yet. So.
But it also proves the point that Behind the Pine podcast is a very relatable podcast because no matter what it is, you could sit down and, like we just did, we went off. We have so many stories about it.
Yep.
Right.
This is just a minute thing of what you guys have to tell. You know what I mean? So
Maybe we'll do an offshoot one and we'll call it Behind the Mic.
Oh, wow.
Just be about podcasting itself.
We have to put it on VH1 like behind the music. No, it's a ton of fun. It really is. We enjoy doing it. It brings people together. It's a similar thing as like being at the bar, but it's just in a whole different medium, and people get to let loose a little bit. And I think there's like any job, you know, you want to vent, you want to talk to people, and it is relatable. Yeah. Customers, service workers. And I've had people reach out to me like, "Hey, I'm an attorney now, but I bartended in my 20s when I was in college," and she goes, "I love your show." And
exactly, it's so little cool. Things like that.
And it's like, because it sticks with you. We had David Gunning on for like our first virtual episode, which is another thing Alex and I had to tackle more.
See, we haven't dived into that yet, but
no, we did okay. I think it came out okay. But he was an actor in New York City and Hollywood. He started off bartending, still bartends now.
Nice.
And he's down in Florida, and he found the show. He writes books about bartenders dealing with douchebag customers, and as soon as we start getting into the conversation, why podcasting has been great is you can relate to it. You can just read, and you talk to someone like, holy shit, you were in Philadelphia, New York, California, now Florida, and we're talking about the same experience. And I've never bartended outside of Rochester.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
And now people know you like from all over the place, and they're like, man, that dude looks familiar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, it's been a ton of fun. We really enjoy doing it, and
that's the thing is like I was literally sitting at a restaurant here in Henrietta, blah blah blah. There's a guy sitting next to us. We're watching the college football game, this and that. He's talking. He's like, "Oh, I'm about to go to Magpie." I said, "Oh." I was like, "We're about to do a podcast." He goes, "Oh yeah, I know Chris." He's like, "My girlfriend was on his podcast."
Oh no shit.
Just like that, and I was like, wow. I was like, all right, yeah, so we do a podcast too, this and that. And you didn't even know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just word of mouth, slowly.
That's how I heard about you guys.
I play my episodes at the bar while I'm working, just to, get people to see it, notice it, and it's self-promotion, but, that's how you build community and stuff. And there was a guy who worked in the service industry, he was a back of the house guy. And he was like, my friends do this podcast, and I reached out to you guys pretty much right away, and here we are.
Yep.
So that's how it works.
Yeah.
And, it's funny. I went up to, I was up in Queensbury last year working on a project, and I walked into this little dive bar. It was right after I got out of work. It was like a Tuesday. I don't know anybody way up there, but I go into this place. There's 2 people at the bar. It must have just opened, but I walked in and I had one of my One Drink T-shirts on when I walked in there, and the bartender was staring at me weird, and I'm like, oh boy. Me. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, hi. I was like, you guys open? And she was like, yeah, come on in. And she goes, I know you. And she goes, you're on that podcast. And she was pointing at my shirt, and I was like, is somebody pulling one on me?
Yeah, right. Ashton Kutcher's going to pop out of the back.
And she was like, yeah. She was like, One Drink. She was like, I watch you. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, in the middle of it. Queensbury's not a big town. You know what I mean? We weren't near, I don't want to say she was old, but I mean, she was double my age at least. But she ended up being super cool. But I hung out with her the whole for awesome. 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Anyways, Oliver's moving pretty soon. He's gonna be
he's gonna be a local celebrity in Queensbury now. Yeah.
Mayor of Queensbury.
That's it. I like it. I'm in.
It is cool. Like I've told people walking like, I heard you guys have a podcast. I'm like, so it's also good for the bar too, because you're like, oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like a different medium where you can connect with people outside of
and that's things. The thing too is like, just for example, if we were like, hey, can One Drink Podcast film from your bar? Now it's promotion for your bar.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's gonna, and yes, you can, by the way.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, because we've done that before, and it's free promotion.
Yeah.
So it's like
that is part of it, and it is really, and that's you got. I'm not gonna poo-poo anybody, but it's like you got the influencer side of things, which to me is just not my style.
Yeah,
and I think this kind of stuff is what really builds, and everyone wants to support each other. Any podcaster I've talked to, that's really like enjoys it.
Yeah.
That's really been their main goal. It's like, you know, they're not like, hey, I need overnight success or anything like that. It's like, I like doing this. You have a cool thing. Let's make a cool thing.
Exactly.
And that's as far as it goes. And even it doesn't have to be a viral video or do anything. Everyone has fun. You get to meet new people.
Yeah.
And it does translate to bartending. That's the same thing. You walk in, you have fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's an experience, and you meet some cool people along the way.
I like it because I've never been like good at art or music or like anything like that, right? So like I like when we get to work with another podcaster that also just enjoys it because they enjoy it.
Exactly.
Because I feel like it's like when two musicians meet and they're like, yo, you want to jam?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, cool. And then like they just do something dope and just make something cool together. You know what I mean? That's why I like it when you know, we get together with another podcast.
No, for
because I feel like we get to just make something cool together in a realm that we both understand and then give it to somebody to enjoy. And if they don't enjoy it, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and at the same time,
if you don't like it, that's fine.
You get to learn, like, his podcast does something completely different than our podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Like, our podcast, we probably do things differently than every podcast. I don't know, but it's fun to cross-reference and learn at the same time.
Well, it's like
really
before the
is.
show, you know, we were talking about, you know, audio setups and, you know, what, you know, how we record and that, you know, we just use these little mics, a couple cameras, and then that's it. We're done with it. You know what I mean? And, you know, just going back and forth and being like, you know, how do you guys do this? How do you guys do that? What do we do for this? What do we do for that?
I
You know what
love
mean?
that part.
No, and it's also like sometimes you're like, if you're running into problem stuff too, like, okay, I'm not the only one.
Yep.
Everyone's got their struggles. And it's like, man, I just thought we were having a hard time. And it's like, no, the whole thing's a hard time. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. We got to plan things, you know, and we talk about it. You know, Alex and I both have families, and it's like you're juggling other jobs and you're juggling a family. And, I got to go get the kid. How many times Alex and I have been trying to get stuff done late night, like on Zoom or something, like editing or whatever. And it's, you know, I'm like, all right, I think I have a half an hour till one of my kids wakes up for the first time.
Let's get it in.
2 minutes later, I'm like, okay, bye, my son's up. I gotta go. We tried.
And that was like, even prior to this, I was like, the hardest thing for us is when it comes to guests is, you know, scheduling things.
Right.
Because, you know, families, everybody's life is different. And when you set that date for, like, us, you know, we're everything busy besides podcasts, we have to stick to that date.
Yeah.
Things do happen, I get it, of course, but once we get that date, we're like, it's such a relief.
It's such a relief. We got something on the books.
Okay, now we're good to go.
So I was telling you guys, like, we have to film on nights where Murphy's is closed because it just doesn't work out any other way. There's too much other shit going on. Mics pick up too much. And if anyone knows anyone in the service industry, people that want to pick up shifts or no call, no show or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always like, to get two bartenders, myself and Alex, all together. And I'm always nervous, even right up to when we're done setting. I'm like, are they going to fucking show up?
Yeah, are they going to fucking show up?
So far, we've been very lucky. Everyone's been awesome. And then, you know, for bartenders, like, I get to hang out talking about bartending, and you give me a couple of drinks, and we just shoot the shit. Like,
I'm gonna be on the big screen. Okay, I'm there. Yeah.
People look at me all the time when I'm at Magpie bartending, and I'm listening. They're like, I see people do double takes. I'm like, yes, it is me.
It is me.
I've had people literally. I'll see how long I can get them going. Like, that guy looks like you. I'm like, really? I know. Granted, since the first episode, I will say I've lost weight, so I'm also like, no, I don't think that's me. I don't know who that fucking guy.
You're like,
is.
I go to the gym. Yeah, that guy does it.
That guy's got terrible posture. It looks like he's sweating in the middle of January. But it is fun, and it's been a learning curve. And you talk about like the art side of things. Like, I've never been good at any of the arts either. I've always appreciated and liked them. This is the closest thing I've had for myself to have like almost like an artistic outlet where it's something you build, something you put your heart and soul into. Like you said, collaborate and try to make something cool.
Yeah.
And then people tell me all the time that they enjoyed it. Oh, that one was really good. That feedback, just like when you have a good bartending shift, is so cool.
Yep.
People text me like, that was so easy to listen to. Even down to my mom saying, yeah, I liked it. She goes, there's a lot of talking. I'm like, that's a podcast. So I guess we nailed it.
Right.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's a lot of
our
fun.
moms are our two biggest fans.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
my
sure.
mom's been listening. She shares everything on her Facebook. God bless your mom.
Yeah. And then even with podcast, so there's an audio side of it, and then there's a YouTube, the visual side of it. A lot of people will listen to the show and be like, oh, you know, but they're wondering. So with podcasting, you don't need the visual side, but people want to see the visual side of it. They want to see who they're talking to. you know, and then they're like, oh, he didn't sound like what he looks like. You know,
put a little face to the voice kind of thing.
And then once you get that, and then now they're connecting with you more, and now when they do listen to you, they're like, oh, they know who you are.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay. You know,
I see people like, you know, like I said, I don't go out of my way to like draw people's attention to my show. Like when I'm there to bartend. You know, if people want to watch sports, I turn it off, but I try to see it catches people's eye. And I'll have people that'll sit there having a drink and they'll watch a whole episode and read all the captions and they'll laugh.
Yeah.
Like with no sound.
That's the best.
And it's so cool. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what part were you laughing at? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember that was really funny.
Yeah.
But it's or people come into the bar like, dude, that was so fucking funny. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like that's the rewarding side of all the work that you put into it. And it's a lot of fun.
For podcasting, whenever you get, so online, we do get some, negative, mean stuff.
I'm sure
we get posted.
It wouldn't be the internet without that.
Exactly. But to me, it's just like, I just always say thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.
I always think to myself, I don't care if you did.
No.
Because I still got the view off of it. Because you watched enough of it to make that kind of comment. So thanks for the view, pal.
You got fast return on investment.
Right. Yeah. But when you do get a positive remark, and for the most part we do get positive stuff, it's just we never thought we'd be podcasting, right. And it takes us, and we get to do a lot of cool stuff. Mm-hmm. But when you get someone that genuinely is like, oh, I really like your podcast, and blah, 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 and this and that, it is a good feeling.
Right.
And so then for doing this, we're like, yeah, that's what it's all about.
Well, you guys were telling the story, I think it was before we started shooting, about how, you were talking about it, and I was just like, I'm in. Yeah. And that's how it happened. Like me, I remember my first thought, I was thinking about it, because I was starting to listen to podcasts, and I remember I was walking, we go to Maine for a family vacation every year. My wife's family's been, her grandparents were going to the same beach for years. It's a great, great family vacation. Just walking up and down the beach with my brother-in-law, and I talked to him about it. He goes, it's a good idea. So, you remember those moments where, the brainchild happened. Yeah. It's and then you get to a point where, the only thing you could do is just do it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, I think this is a good idea. We're just going to dive in. Yeah. Throw some money and time into it. Let's see if it goes somewhere. But if it doesn't, then we have fun along the way.
Exactly.
And you got a great story, and especially this kind of stuff. This stuff, we'll have it forever. Yeah. And I wouldn't have it any other way. My son said, "You're going to go film a podcast," and I have to show him. I have to be careful what I show him because it's a bar. It's a bar podcast. Yeah. And it's really, really cool, and it's nice to have your fingerprint and your name on something.
Oh yeah. And I always say you have to start. You have to start.
Yep.
That's
you'll always wonder. You'll always wonder. And then once you do it, you're running.
Yeah. Yep. So as long as you're still having fun while you're doing it. We've said it from day one for almost 5 years now. 6 years now. We've said it to each other. The minute we stop having fun doing this,
it's over.
We're just gonna pack it up. You know what I mean?
No hard feelings, no nothing. It's just
whether we have one view or 100 million views. It doesn't matter to us where we are. Yeah. We just like to have fun. You got to do it for escape for us.
You got to do it for love of the game.
Yeah.
You got to really do it.
And I don't really drink that much anymore or go out like that anymore. Since I've had my daughter.
We are with our episodes on
this for me is my going out.
This is
you know what I mean. This is like my you know what I mean. Some
podcast, I'm in.
Some different social time that's. I don't mean to sound bad, but that's not with my girls. You know what I mean? You just need that.
It is weird when you start having kids. You're like, that's my social life now. Is I'm socially exhausted by the end of the day.
Yes.
Talking about family.
Yes.
So, and it's awesome, and it is really cool. And I don't sit on the other side of the bar that much, if ever anymore. So going out, and we do sit at the bar. We're behind the bar. We're behind the pine when we film. Yeah. It is a hangout. It really is.
Yep.
And I look forward to having you guys on.
It's going to be awesome.
For sure. So, other than watching the podcast at the bar while you're bartending.
Which is fantastic.
I love that.
I do too.
Where else can everybody find you?
I'm on, the best way to do it, we're on Apple, we're on iTunes, we are on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, YouTube. You can follow us on all our socials, Instagram, X. Best thing to do is just go to BehindThePinePodcast.com. Right on our landing page, all the links where you can follow, subscribe, wherever you watch your podcast. We got our merch store on there. You can email us directly if you ever want to be on the show. And any comments, feedback, always welcome. And I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys having me.
Oh man, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. I can't wait to go on the other show so we can finally talk about some restaurant stuff.
I know, right?
Because we spent the whole show talking about podcasts, damn it.
I already forgot about where you worked.
That's fine, perfect. I'm not going to tell you. It'll be a surprise now, so it's fine. And I'll probably remember your name, so it'll be cool.
That'd be awesome.
I might ask him on the way there, but it's fine. No offense.
Yes, so that is our one drink for the show. Thank you for coming on the show. It was fantastic.
Guys, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Until next time, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.